So back then, in the dawn of prehistory, you didn't just hit guide on your remote. You actually had to look somewhere, usually your local newspaper or TV guide, to find out what television shows were going to be on later. Good morning, everyone. Dave from the Wee Hours here, back with some more Showrunner here on the set of My Two Orcs, our amazing 80s buddy comedy that isn't exactly going over like gangbusters. I mean, it's getting better. It's getting better. The Elf Widow Janet, our last episode, did not too bad. Obviously, introducing a new character with a love interest, people are gonna go for that kind of thing. And the Elf Widow Janet here, played by Lila Kelly, doing not so bad. Not so bad at all. But we've only got 3 more episodes in this series to pull this all together. So I wanted to start by seeing what, if anything, we could be upgrading. Like, you can upgrade virtually everything here. The Doppler M2 soundstage boom, I could get that up to the Holtzman something something something, and that would be some more points down here. Denotes how much of a bonus to episode points generation this item gives if used in the room, etc., etc. Okay, that's cool. How about the camera? We've got the Ham 95, one of my favorites in the series. If we go up to the Cami 4450 here, boy, that's a lot of extra points. And not a small amount in script and persona. It ain't cheap. $250, and I've got $975. That's like a quarter of my money right there. But it might be worth it. What else could we do around here? Ooh, the director's chair. What happens if I upgrade your chair? You have less energy, but more morale. Probably because you have a nicer chair. How about over in the writer's room? I've upgraded the whiteboard already. I got that done. I could go for another upgrade on the table. That will be worse in script points, weirdly. That will be worse in script points. Well, I don't want that. How about the coffee maker? Can we upgrade this? Yes, I can. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, we can get donuts. We can get donuts. Obviously, a huge boost to morale, as they would be, but less energy. They're going to lose energy faster. Probably all the sugar. That's probably the problem. What's going on over here? We've got a research bookcase that I could upgrade. What's going to happen there? We'll get a little more points here, but less XP for the staff. Obviously, we've got our extra writer on board as well, coming into the second half of the season of My Two Orcs to really kind of punch it out, as they say. Punch it out. I believe that's a writing term. I'm not 100% sure on that. So a little bit more points, but less XP on that. Not really sure why. Maybe because with an upgraded bookcase, they're borrowing more material. They're not really writing it for themselves. We've already done some stuff down in the staff room here. Where are our hats? What is the... Quasar, what is the deal with the hats? I specifically asked for hats. I clearly put hats on everyone. Why do we never have hats on, Quasar? I think I'm gonna go, expensive as it is, with the camera, because that seems to add a lot to what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to purchase the upgrade on the camera. That was a lot of money I just spent. I'm also seeing I can upgrade the lights here too. What can I get out of this? Oh, that's not bad. Boy, that's a pretty big boost there from A to B. 15 up to 35 on the points. That is not bad. And then doubling script points and persona points. It's not hideously expensive. I mean, it is, but it's not I'm going to do that. I'm going to upgrade. We've got, there goes, studio leveled up right there. We got to pull it all together for the last 3 shows here. We got to go out big so people want a second season of My Two Orcs. We can't crash and burn now. So with that, with the last 3 episodes, we're going to have to pull out some old sitcom chestnuts out of all of this. Let's create an episode. Let's get Richard and Julian working on that. Thank you very much. All right. This kills me. This kills me. But if we're making an 80s comedy, then we know what we have to put in an 80s comedy, because literally every 80s comedy had this. Yeah, Different Strokes, I'm looking in your direction, okay? I'm looking in your direction. We all remember that very, very weird and creepy episode of Different Strokes. Every 80s comedy had a very special episode where it was heartfelt and weird and kind of creepy and something awful happened, and yet there were a couple of laughs in there somehow. Now, how is this all going to go down? I have everything open to me. Opening with a worrying story. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, open with a worrying story. It is a very special episode. Something terrible is happening here. Acute observation, that goes right into that. Where is I have my running joke. All cards with a comedy score gain +1 comedy, and obviously comedy is kind of what we're going for here. How about we go into acute observation? What's like my tertiary thing here? Plot. Okay. So comedy and characters #1, and plot as a tertiary thing that we might want to put in here if we've got the space to do it. So we go from a worrying story, obviously something very, very terrible has happened here, into an acute observation. And then we're going to have to put the running joke in, because it's the running joke, and I finally know what the running joke is. It's taken me several episodes to do this. It's the hats. It's the hats. We never have our hats. So we walked in on episode 1, and both Penge Cupboard and Dave had hats on. And they put the hats down to meet each other, with us like, oh no, we are strangely half-brothers, yet we've never met in our lives. Let's put our hats down and talk about things. The hats have never been seen again. Never. They've never turned up. Every episode, there's like, have you seen my hat? I swear to God I came in here with a hat. I mean, we've got a hat rack and everything. I feel I would have put it on the hat rack. But there's no hats. This is the running joke. They can never find their hats. Is it the strongest running joke in comedy? No, but it's our running joke, and I'm going with it. Okay, I've got it. I know how this entire episode goes together here. So, worrying story, acute observation, running joke is going to go into a terrible plan and then a friendly chat. All right, here's how this all breaks down. Try and stay with me here. It's a very special episode, so there has to be something rather dark and unfortunate that goes on here. It's not all laughs, except for the running joke about the hats. So, worrying story, the character of Dave is going to somehow lose all of the tavern's money in some sort of crazy scheme. You know, sort of a Jack and the Beanstalk thing. And then there'll be an acute observation. Penge Cupboard will come in and go, what have you done with all our money, man? We got to order mead and mead. I'm pretty sure that's all we serve, but we got to order our mead. Where's all our money? You've lost it in some harebrained scheme. And then we go into the running joke about how nobody can find their hat. They came in with a hat on episode 1. They've never seen the hats again. There's a terrible plan to recoup the money in some way that will involve something like really, really dumb, like pretending to be professional gamblers and going into this den of iniquity to try and win the money back in some, well, again, harebrained scheme. That's what we're going with here. But at the end, it all somehow works out and they get their money back after the terrible plan, and they sit down and go, well, let's never spend all our money again in some sort of harebrained scheme. I hope you've learned your lesson. And then there's that wah wah sound at the very end where we know we've learned something very, very important. Throughout the laughs, we've learned something. All right, Richard, that one's all you. Off you go, please. Obviously, get our characters in there. I don't think Tim or the Elf Widow Janet are going to have a big role in this, but we're certainly putting them in, because of course they are. So complete that. Off you go, man. I'll get you started there by actually getting the game going. In fact, let's get it a little bit faster there. Wow, +10 comedy, +10 comedy. This thing writes itself. +10 on whatever those things are. +14 on those things. I love those things. I don't know what that is, but we got +8 and then +9 of them. Fantastic. And while they're doing that, anything I need to know about my studio level up here? Nope, we are almost at level 6. Actually, we just peeled right through level 5. Writer's Room level 2 is unlocked. So can I upgrade the entire room? I can. Okay. So staff... No. Writer's Room. It's not even that expensive. Oh, I should have done that before they started writing. Well, you know what? They're not quite done. Let's see if a quick upgrade will get them any better. All right, Quasar, you're on set, please. Quasar to the set, and then you guys, who we really don't remember. But good luck with everything. I got you an upgraded camera, so hopefully that helps. Yeah, we have no hats. This is the running joke. We came in on day 1. Wow, look at all that comedy coming in. That running joke card, that is a huge card. We came in on day 1, episode 1. We both had hats on. We've never seen the hats again. This is the running joke. Somewhere in this tavern are our hats. Okay, Elizabeth, get to editing, please. I might want to hire another editor in the reasonably near future, although With all those upgrades, I've been bleeding through money right now. I'm good on the script points and the persona points. That's pretty good, but I have been hemorrhaging money. Hopefully that's all going to pay off. The upgraded camera, the upgraded writer's room. Hopefully that's going to pay off in the long run. Okay, we didn't get any better star reviews, but boy did we get a lot of people watching that. There you go. You throw on a very special episode in the 80s, and it's going to be like on the cover of TV Guide. Yeah, okay, so there was this well, was it really a magazine? I guess it was a magazine, because, it was a magazine. So there was this magazine, okay? I have to explain this to the younger viewers, called TV Guide, right? And this is going to blow your mind, all right? Get ready to have your head explode. TV Guide would tell you what shows were going to be on that week. I know, right? So here's why. You're hearing that. You're like, why would anyone create that magazine? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So back then, in the dawn of prehistory, you didn't just hit guide on your remote. You actually had to look somewhere, usually your local newspaper or TV Guide, to find out what television shows were going to be on later. So if you looked in your local newspaper, I know, right? This is amazing. But this is what we did back then. We actually had to go effectively research what shows were going to be on and when. So the primary source of that was a magazine called TV Guide, which would give you the week's shows in advance. And you wanted that because if you went to your local newspaper, they generally only gave you the shows that were on that day, maybe the next day if you were lucky, but that day. And by the time you got the newspaper, most of the shows were over, so you really didn't care. You wanted to go TV Guide. And if you went TV Guide and you put on a very special episode, I'm telling you right now, the characters of My Two Orcs are right on the front cover. And look at those comedy points too. We are killing it in comedy. Oh, the Elf Widow Janet as a character has leveled up. Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Let's see if we can get a trait in here that might make her more appropriate for the actor. So let's see what we could do. I'd love to get something that could push you into more lawful. That would be fantastic. Is there anything, or we just flat out add points to everything? Ooh, we could go back down to witty. That's 3 comedy points right there. Not bad. What else can you show me here? Can you show me anything here that will give me towards lawful? Yes, cautious. Moves 1 point towards lawful, which is all I need. I'd love to get those extra points in everything. That is good. But it's only 3 comedy points to the whole script. We can probably make that up somewhere else. I'd rather have the actor be more appropriate to the role. So what did I want? Cautious. Let's do cautious. Select that. Are we good? Are you cautious now? I'm sure it'll all work out. It's fine. Okay, where are we at with the show? 2 more episodes. And we are pulling out all the chestnuts here. So episode 9, that's obviously going to be at the end of the year. Again, these came out weekly. I want to stress that. We didn't binge watch the entire series in one day. So this is going to be towards the end of the year. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to pull out what is my second least favorite, my second most hated episode of any sitcom or comedy series ever. I'm going to have to do it. Okay, I was severely restricted in characters on this Showrunner. I need way more characters for my title. I'm going to tell you that right now. So this was supposed to read the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, psych. I'm looking in your direction hard. Worst episode of your entire series. Never mind that season. I hate this episode with a passion. All right, there is only one other type of comedy chestnut that I hate more than this. It may come up in the future, it may not. But this is my second most hated. The Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. And we imagine that the main character never existed, and they see themselves in some sort of dream sequence. They're like, oh, how would this life have changed if I'd never existed? And then everyone has a heartwarming Christmassy thing at the end. I despise this episode. Again, there's only one other that I hate more than this, but this is, yeah, Psych. I'm talking about you. All right? I know Psych was technically not in the 80s, but it was one of the most brilliant comedy series ever written. I'm looking at you, okay? You had genius on your hands there. That was one of the most brilliant comedy series ever. and you pulled out the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. So obviously we've got to start with surreal sequence. That's the whole point of this episode. History lesson, yeah, I can live without that. I care so little about this episode that I'm largely just going to be slapping things in here and hoping for the best. We could go with unconvincing display. So Penge Cupboard is and I'm going to use the term victim, of the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. And he imagines, wow, I really dislike living in this tavern and owning this tavern and operating this tavern with my half-brother that I've never met in my life before. And what is up with our hats? Why can't I find my hat? So he has a dream where we do, yes, It's a Wonderful Life. And he imagines his life if none of this had ever happened. And there's an unconvincing display where the character of Dave just tries to run the tavern by himself, and it goes, even more horribly wrong than when they're trying to do it together. Now, if I put in cross purposes, I'm basically out at that point. Surreal sequence costs me a lot. I've got 3 time points left. Anything I put in here is going to just kill the show right there, or rather, this episode anyway. You know what? Here's how much I despise the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. Call it a day. Write the thing, Richard. But Dave, why are you writing things that you don't like? Because everyone else loves this episode for some reason. Like Mrs. Dave, she loves these episodes. She can't wait for the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life on whatever comedy thing we're doing. And she knows I will leave the room because I'm disgusted with it. But she loves these things. Everyone else seems to love this episode. I can't stand these episodes. It's such a cheap, ineffective... It's cheap. Sorry, that is my rant about this. If we ever end up going to my most hated episode, it's going to get worse from there. Now, I'm not actually expecting a lot out of this episode, given what we put into it. We only had 3 cards to play there, but I'm banking it all on the last episode. I have a very clear plan of what we're doing with the last episode. I've been kind of saving up points up here for specifically the very last episode of this, so I've got a plan. If this one flops, you know what? That's okay. It should flop. It's a terrible idea. Okay, Quasar, get on set, please. Julian just leveled up there. Wait, Julian, I think you're one of my writers. You are clearly not part of my crew, so off you go. I should probably fire Jayla at some point. Jayla's terrible. I bet I can get someone way better in than Jayla. But anyway, yeah, film that nonsense. I know, Quasar, I hate it too, man. I know, it's demeaning to you. It's demeaning to have to film the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life. Nobody likes it, man. That's the problem, though, Quasar. Everybody likes it, except you and me. We're sensible. All right, Elizabeth's working her editing magic over here. The cast are all down here enjoying donuts and whatever those green drinks are. I assume there's some sort of healthy energy drink or something like that. That's kind of a contradiction in terms. And the writers are just sitting on their butts as they do. You know what? I'm actually feeling good about this. It shows me that I'm right. The audience was not into this as much as we weren't into this. So down a half star there. I'm not surprised. I gave them the Christmas episode where we do It's a Wonderful Life because that's just what you do when you write these things. Definitely a loss in viewers. Things are not great, but that's okay. We're pulling it all out for the next episode. I've got a plan. And the first part of my plan requires a new character. I've been thinking about this one for a while, and there's nothing more 80s than what I'm about to do. If you made a sitcom in the 80s, well, frankly, about 80% of the sitcoms in the 80s were based on this. So you need to be, effectively, a sidekick. All right, so what is that going to be? Emotional, lawful, personable, and then some things. Okay, and you are going to be a support character for now, unless you get a spin-off down the road. That's right, we're bringing in the adopted child. Yes! There is nothing more 80s comedy than this. Go ahead, I bet you can think of 3 of them without even trying hard. Okay, sitcoms in the 80s, you got an adopted kid. I can think of 4 right now. Maybe 5 if I put my mind to it. And they were some of the biggest comedies out there. So Goblin Kid Jake. Jake because every young man in the 80s was called Jake. It was the law. It was a weird time. You were going to be a sidekick. Again, unless you get a Unless you get a spin-off later, who knows. So let's create and cast that. It's only costing me 50 points. That is totally fine. Let's do a level 2 search. I'd like to get someone halfway decent at this. And it sure as heck ain't Lucy. Oh, Morgan. You are 93% the character of Goblin Kid Jake. I know you're an adult. I get that. You're looking at this going, I can't play a kid. Morgan, let me assure you, it'll be totally fine. Nobody really cared back then. Michael J. Fox was in his 20s when he played Alex P. Keaton, and Alex P. Keaton was supposed to be a teenager. Is there anyone any better? And the answer is a pretty hard no on that. Ooh, you're not bad, Madison. You're not terrible. I don't really care about your wages right now. I kind of care about your fame. Show me the other one. How famous is Morgan? Morgan is nowhere near as famous. Show me Madison again. How well staff are known within the industry? Has a loose correlation to ability and much more directly correlation to expected wages. Oh, so they just want more money. And they might be better at things. All right, I was kind of hoping for more of they will draw in a lot of viewers because people know who this actor is. Anyone else? No. Wow, Julian. You got the look. Julian, you're 100% the character of Goblin Kid Jake. How old are you? 35? Doesn't matter. Refer to my Michael J. Fox comment. Why can you not have a hat? Like, at all. You can't have any hat. Is there a reason for that? Because we kind of have this running joke about hats. I don't know if you'd noticed that. I can't even give you a back item. Is that a designation of your sidekick character? That you can't have a cape? Because everyone's kind of got a cape around here, man. Okay, we're going to have to keep it basic on you then. You need some kind of pair of shorts because you're supposed to be a kid and all kids wear shorts. There we go. The shoes are fine. Let's see if we can find kind of a fun, childish t-shirt. There you go. Childish t-shirt for you. I'm basically okay with what you look like right now. Okay, you're in, kid. We gotta write our final episode. We gotta blow them away. They did not see this coming. Actually, they totally saw this coming, because in the 80s, you always had an adopted kid in every single sitcom. And just for fun, I'm going to put Julian as lead writer on this, because Julian's better. I didn't actually notice that I could switch this, so I can have Richard or Julian. Well, Julian, this is going to be your baby, okay? This is going to be the episode that is all Julian. All right, so really, really bring it home for me. I don't think I have, unfortunately, I don't have Running Joke available. There's kind of a long cooldown on that. History lesson, not so much. Let's start out. I actually really don't have a lot going on here. So let's see. Terrible plan, worrying story, and acute observation are 2 each. That'll get me to 6. Let's do worrying story that goes into another acute observation and another terrible plan. So worrying story is this orphan goblin turns up at the door, looking very, very despondent and sad. And then there's an acute observation of, wow, we should probably feed this kid, or something along those lines. And then we'll kick him out, then we'll make him leave. So we'll give him, I don't know, whatever child-friendly items that we have in a bar, in a tavern, probably not mead. But we'll give him some food, and then we'll let him go. We'll kick him on his way. But the Goblin Kid Jake ain't leaving. All right, so now there's a terrible plan. And it's going to be, again, one of those kind of Scooby-Doo chases through the tavern where Penge Cupboard and the character of Dave are trying to, pin the kid down so they can get him out the door. But, it's in one door and out the other in traditional Scooby-Doo fashion. And then we can go into friendly chat. When they finally, capture him, corral him, they all sit down together. Everyone, the entire cast. The Elf Widow Janet comes in, and Tim the bartender's there. They all come in, because this is a really, really big climax to the episode here. And they're like, you know what? This kid has no home. Maybe this should be his home. I don't know why. It makes no sense to have a child living in a tavern where it's probably awful and dirty and unhygienic all the time. But everyone basically agrees to this, and then it actually finishes rather than starts. It finishes with new arrival. The new kid. Oh, this just writes itself. Now, interestingly, I can't put all my support characters in. Huh. Obviously, probably have to unlock that at some point. All right, let's keep it the elf widow Janet, because she'd be the voice of reason. She'd be the one that says, no, you can't kick this kid out on the street. How could you do that, Penge Cupboard? I will never go on a date with you again if you do that. And then let's get Goblin Kid Jake in there. So, sorry, Tim. I don't know. It's like your day off or something like that. It's not going to be killing it in comedy. But hopefully the introduction of a new character will kind of pique people's interests. Okay, Quasar, to the set, please. I don't know Quasar, but I don't think we've invented CGI yet. Just make the actor look way younger than the actor actually is. I see her up at the bar, and the elf widow Janet is behind the bar. She must be filling in for Tim. That's what it is, because she really kind of wants to hang out in the tavern, because she's got a love interest thing going with Penge Cupboard. So she's like, oh, I'll be Tim for the day. I have some bartending experience. She totally doesn't, and there's this whole subplot about how she cannot even serve a cup of mead. But the kid's here, everyone's having a good time, and this has gotta be the thing that this series needs. Oh, Lila leveled up during all of that, so good for you, Lila. Have fun with that. Good job leveling up on things. We're doing our editing over here. Everyone's down having some donuts and some energy drinks and stuff. I like the fact that we have a picture of a kitty above the piano. That just fills me with glee. Okay, it didn't exactly kill it. You know what? People take time to adjust to a new character. There were probably a lot of regular viewers of My Two Orcs who were resistant to bringing in a new character, especially the adopted kid character. I know it's kind of a cliche, but frankly, again, if you were in the 80s, you did this, and you made huge, huge shows about the adopted kid thing. So not as many viewers, not as much on the reviews there. A lot of that was I didn't have the cards. I needed to put that together. Everything was still on cooldown. I'm going to blame the mechanics for that one. But it's going to be fine, because they're going to adjust to the new character. It's all going to be good. Next season, this kid is going to take off. And we're being asked to sign a new contract. All right. It's at least getting picked up for a second season. Well, I'm going to stay with Rune then. Their needs are fairly minimal. I mean, 1 million viewers is a bit of an ask, but for every half star, we're going to get 20. That's fine. 2 star and above, we'll get 75. Again, they're all broadly not completely dissimilar, so I'm okay with just keeping with the company that we've got. And there we go. Season 1 closes out. Season 2, ready to get started here. So we do just go right into, providing we get picked up, of course, we go right into a second season of whatever it is we are working on right now. I would be very interested to see in Showrunner down the road if we can create multiple series. That would be, I mean, it's a lot. It's a big ask for Showrunner, but I'd like to be able to create more than one series at one time rather than just keep going with this one. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of expandable area over here, Showrunner. We could put a whole nother studio over here. Nothing wrong with that. Put a whole other studio over here. Quasar can do double duty. He's very, very good. He's not actually very good at his job. He's actually pretty terrible at his job. I might fire Quasar. I can't fire Quasar. Quasar's been here since day one, and his name is Quasar. But that is the first episode of My Two Orcs, or rather the first season, of My Two Orcs Down. And I think we did not completely terrible for a first season. I think the ideas were strong. Maybe the audience didn't pick up on everything that I was putting down, but I think they'll come around eventually. And I think that's a great place to call it on Showrunner for now. Our first season done in the can? Is that like a Hollywood term? In the can? I'm pretty sure you say that. The more I say it, the worse it sounds, but I think that means like those film reel spool things. It's like a metal can of some sort. Anyway, we're done. We're done with the more I think about what I just said, I might edit that out. I might not. We'll see how that goes. But that is where we're going to call it a day on Showrunner. We're going to wrap it up here. Nice little mini-series with our first season of My Two Orcs. I definitely love to check this out in the future. I'd really like to see what happens on release of this. And see what else is going to be in here, if anything. I want to take a sec again to thank the developers of Showrunner for sending along a key to this so we can check it out on the channel. I had a ton of fun playing this. This game is way more fun than it has any right to be. I thought this was going to be a very simple kind of point and click and then get through a show kind of thing. but boy, when you start throwing a few ideas around, this becomes a super, super fun game. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Do please let me know in the comments what you thought of Showrunner. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, do please leave a like down below. It does cheer me up no end when people do that. And if you're new to the channel, maybe just checking it out for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button. See more of this ridiculous nonsense. Until then, I'm Dave. Thank you, as always, for joining me in the wee hours, and we'll see you next time.
I totally understand that. If I were visiting a restaurant and it was on fire, I probably wouldn't go there again. Not quickly anyway, not until I saw some more reviews on the place, and those reviews specifically said, place burns down much less than it used to. Oh, you have a migraine or a rattlesnake bite? Well, this is wicked simple, Linda. Have you been bitten by a snake? If the answer is no, then it's a migraine. And my accountant's on fire. Because water plus electricity is bad. Robot, how do we rescue you? I don't know how to rescue you. I'm also not sure I ever knew you were a woman.